Hello and welcome to the first request show on Stretty News TV. My name is Dale O'Donnell. I'm the founder and editor of the blog, and I'm going to be speaking about some discussions raised by our followers on Twitter that I asked today. I asked readers what would they like us to talk about. They come up with a range of different options, and I've selected 4. I'm going to start Robin van Persie, and this weekend there's reports come out that he's linked with a return to Arsenal. Robin van Persie, as you know, his first season at Manchester United last season, winning us the league and just top class, world class. There's very few strikers that I would say are better than him in the world right now. But these reports come as a bit of a surprise given the way he left Arsenal on some controversial terms, leaving Arsene Wenger, who obviously wasn't too happy about him trying to rival, but that's how the cookie crumbles and that's the way football is. But with the report, some people have chosen not to believe him. I'm one of those people, and I don't let's say that in a way that I think he's going to remain at the club. I think he will likely leave in the summer. But the question that one of the readers asked was, given this the current state of affairs that it looks like he wants to leave the club, is it necessarily a bad thing if we did get rid? Now, this question's interesting because I've already touched on what a player he was for us last season and winning us our 20th title, and you know, he was the type of player that had such swagger and flawlessly did things that were just out of this world. And he kept surprising us with these goals that popped out of nowhere and winning us games. But when you're losing a player like that, you are going to lack in the department of scoring goals. But then again, we also have a player right now that doesn't look like he's interested. A lot of his attempts seem half-hearted in gaining possession and winning possession and so on. So would it necessarily be a bad thing? There's 2 arguments. You're talking about a world-class player, few better than, and they're talking about a player that's not giving it his all. Personally, I don't think it would be such a bad idea to get rid, given this current state of affairs which you touched on, but I would be wary of losing to a rival like Arsenal. Obviously, ideally, if we were to get rid, it would be foreign to a different country. Italy, Spain, Germany. I'm sure there'd be plenty of potential buyers out there with a player like Robin van Persie comes up for grabs. Now, Wednesday night with the draw at Arsenal, there was several half-hearted attempts which I've touched on, and it lets you down as a fan. But then again, we did spend 25 million on a player that did win us the league last season. He's coming to the stage now where he's reaching his 30s, and he's not going to remain at that level forever. And I'm looking, if there was a possibility of us getting in a different striker, maybe use one of the strikers we have at the minute, that would work hard. It's not necessarily a terrible thing, because he's not giving his all anyway. It's a shame because Robin van Persie on his day is, like I said, the best striker in the world in my eyes, hands down. And some people argue Luis Suarez this season. Yes, I'd agree. So it is disappointing to see that attitude from a player, but he's obviously doesn't seem happy to me. I wouldn't rule out a move in the summer. And I think that's just, we have to look at it in the way that getting him sold abroad, if it comes to that, and getting in someone or using someone we already have, that's going to work his socks off. And that's what we should be looking at. That's what United wants, what we need right now, is people hard workers. So some players letting miles down. And there's 2 sides, so there's management issues and there's player issues. There's attitudes we should be worried about. I expect it better from Robin van Persie, but we should see how the rest of the season plans out. As we can see from a number of transfers down the years, there's lots of twists and turns. Wayne Rooney, for example. I need to say no further on that. The next topic we're going to talk about is belief in Nani, and the view from the majority of fans. At the Stoke game this season at Old Trafford, Nani was substituted and Januzaj was brought on. And several supporters within Old Trafford booed the Portuguese winger. And that for me was astounding. Nani the season before and Fergie's final season was listed as a scapegoat for me. He is a player that needs runs in teams. He's not a player that can come in chopping in and out, and he's consistent. He's inconsistent, sorry. He's terribly inconsistent, and that for fans frustrates them. And that's where the scapegoat logo comes from. It's easy to blame Nani when things aren't going our way because some days he has terrible performances. But I will say, unless you're going to call Matza an out-and-out winger, which I don't think he is, I would call Januzaj an out winger. Between Januzaj and Nani, I can't see another winger we have that's capable of showing world class changing games and with their attacking threat. There's very few. Young, he's on a bit this season, but other than that, he leaves a lot to be desired about. Anthony Valencia, I think he's a limited winger. Ask him to use his left foot and you're in trouble. And I don't think he's been too good this season. And then again, he's been called upon at right back a few times, which has cost us deeply. So Nani is a player I do like. I think, but I do think his Manchester United career is coming to an end. I think he has had lots of opportunities to show his consistency, and he hasn't shown it, which is a shame because we know from seasons gone by what Nani is capable of, and it was a matter for him of doing it consistently, and he hasn't been able to. There was a time also when he lived in the shadow of Cristiano Ronaldo, and even when Ronaldo left, there was a season after when he performed superbly, but then he went back into a shadow, and people still feel that he should be as good as Cristiano Ronaldo, which is a crazy ask because there's very few players in the world that are capable of doing maybe one, Lionel Messi. So Nani, I think I wouldn't rule out him leaving either in the summer, but I do think he was labelled a scapegoat. I think he's better than what some people suggest, and he did just get a new contract this season, so you never know what could happen in the remaining months of the season, and he is injured also. The next discussion we're going to talk about is one that's popped up quite regularly under David Moyes, and the way he's set up tactically at United. The past few weeks we've seen 4-4-2. We've seen Mata and Young played out on the wing. Mata hasn't really played as an out-and-out winger, I wouldn't say, because of the responsibility Rafael has at the right back, up and down the wing. But Mata did cost us 37 million, and we're playing him out on wing, and that has scratched a few heads of Reds. But it's not to say he has played there for Chelsea a few times under Benitez, which he did quite well under. But with this 4-4-2 formation, I do feel we're being left perhaps limited. When you look at sides like Everton this season and Liverpool this season, and they're playing modern type football, and Everton, by the way, is obviously Moyes' former club, and Martin has done a superb job since taking over. One reader did ask, if United played a 4-4-3-3, would it work? My answer, I don't know. We haven't seen it from Moyes. It's interesting to see how he would approach that with his selection, with who he play in the three behind the front three, and obviously the responsibility he puts on fullbacks, which I think we've struggled a bit this season. 4-4-3, 4-3-3. Sorry, again I keep messing up. It would be interesting to see that 4-4-2 isn't working for United this season, and we seem to be trying it week in, week out with endless crossing and sloppy in possession, but maybe Moyes is trying to kind of maybe kept it cool and not do things too complicated, but that hasn't been working. I would like to see a formation change. Some people have mentioned the 4-2-3-1, but then again, it's hard to comment on these unless it's tried for a few weeks. We've seen lots of 4-4-2, and we have had plenty of injuries this season. So then again, it is difficult for the manager to cement a formation that he's comfortable with so many injuries going, important players in and out of the team. That makes it more difficult. Last but not least, we're going to talk about safe standing, and today we learned that Manchester United are open to it. Ed Woodward, well, apparently Red News, United fanzine, have said today that Ed Woodward would welcome the idea. For me, I think it's a fantastic idea if they can bring it back. When I say bring it back, I'm talking about standing. Safe standing was never in England before, and I think people are getting confused by that. There was obviously some horrific events such as Hillsborough, but if you say that safe standing was never brought into England, and we look at pop concerts right now, and people stand at pop concerts and there's no problems. I think safe standing, it's about being monitored properly, and if they can do that, I think it would really give the atmosphere at Old Trafford and several grounds in England, they're not all brilliant, a boost. Atmosphere, we complain about it every season, and there's been trials this season and last season with the singing section, most recently at Fulham, which I thought was a success because unlike usually when Fulham come to town, it's not always chanting for 90 minutes, and I think it was quite stable in that regard. There's fans chanting, and there's people there obviously that are getting tickets for the singing section. They're in the minority and they're not singing. Either it's a silent protest because they're being moved from the J stand. I don't know. Personally, I think it's worked on the trials. The club seem interested in bringing it in full time. With, if you look on Twitter, you have Peter Boyle meeting the likes of David Moyes and Phil Neville. But yeah, I think movements like that, a lot of fans are criticising, but they're doing something about the atmosphere, and I think that's the least we should ask. We can all sit back and complain about this and that, and that it's Old Trafford can be like a library, and it will remain that way unless people do something about it. So I think fans, and instead of sitting back and moaning about this and that, I think we should be looking at it with an objective eye and giving it more support. But anyway, that's the discussions talked about for the first request show on Stretty News TV. I will give a mention to our sponsors, Canadian, a beer. Obviously linked with Owen Hargreaves in not being shatterproof, but Canadian. Bit of a gag there. But you might see a few of those different sponsors week in, week out. I hope you enjoyed the show. There's a comment section beneath this video. If you don't agree with necessarily everything I said, list it. It's about conversation and building a community with this channel. There's plenty of channels out there, and we're hoping to contribute with them and work together. So if you follow us on Twitter, it's Stretty News. Facebook's the same, and StrettyNews.com is the blog. Hope you enjoy it. We'll speak to you next week. Come on, you Reds.